On a cold, rainy night, I heard a faint cry outside my empty house, and what I found changed my life forever. This isn't just a story about rescuing a stray dog, it's about how one act of kindness turned loneliness into love and transformed a house into a home. Stay with me to see how Lucky saved me as much as I saved him. The sound of rain tapping against the windows was the only thing breaking the silence that night. I sat alone in my small, empty house, scrolling through my phone, trying to distract myself from the hollow feeling I couldn't shake. Moving to a new town for work had seemed like a great idea at the time, but the loneliness of starting over had hit me harder than I expected. Little did I know, everything was about to change. It started with a cry, a faint, desperate sound carried by the wind. At first, I thought I was imagining it, but then it came again, louder this time. I grabbed my jacket and flashlight, stepping out into the cold, wet night. The street was dark, illuminated only by the dim glow of a nearby lamppost. Then I saw him. A small, scruffy dog was huddled by the curb, drenched and shivering. His fur was matted, his ribs poking through his fragile frame. He looked up at me with wide, fearful eyes, but there was something else there too, a flicker of hope. I knelt down, extending my hand slowly, speaking softly to him. "Hey, buddy. It's okay. I won't hurt you." He didn't move at first, his body tense and trembling. But then, as if he could sense the warmth in my voice, he took a hesitant step forward. That's when I noticed the deep gash on his front paw. My heart ached as I carefully scooped him up, feeling how light he was, how fragile. The vet told me he was severely malnourished and would need time to recover. She guessed he had been abandoned for weeks, maybe longer. I decided to call him Lucky, not because of his past, but because I knew he was going to have a better future. Bringing Lucky home was the start of something I didn't even realize I needed. At first, he was cautious, hiding under the table or flinching at sudden movements. I spent hours sitting on the floor, just talking to him, letting him know he was safe. Slowly but surely, he began to trust me. The first time he wagged his tail, it was like the sun breaking through the clouds. Every day, Lucky and I healed together. He started gaining weight, his fur grew softer, and his eyes, once filled with fear, sparkled with life. And my once empty house? It started to feel like a home. I'd wake up to his tiny paws tapping on the floor, tail wagging as if to say, "Good morning." He'd curl up next to me on the couch, his head resting on my lap as we watched TV together. Lucky brought laughter into my life, like the time he dragged one of my shoes into the yard, wagging his tail proudly as if it were a treasure. He gave me purpose, getting me out of the house for walks, where we'd explore the world together. But the most important thing Lucky gave me was love, the kind of love that doesn't ask for anything in return. Months passed and Lucky became a local favorite. Neighbors would stop us on walks to pet him, charmed by his playful personality and the way he'd wag his whole body when he was happy. No one could believe this was the same dog who had been so broken and scared. Looking back, I realize I didn't just save Lucky that rainy night. He saved me too. He filled the quiet spaces in my home with joy and the empty spaces in my heart with unconditional love. Today, Lucky is thriving. He has a cozy bed, a backyard to play in, and more toys than he knows what to do with. But most of all, he has a family, a home, and so do I. Sometimes the smallest acts of kindness can lead to the biggest changes in our lives. For me, rescuing a stray dog didn't just give Lucky a second chance, it gave me one too. And every time I look into his eyes, I know I'll always be the lucky one.